a similar way about you. We had Chris Rock up here, and we do this thing called Battle of the Best, and we have the guests sit their name in the bag and say who you think is better, and then your name came up, and this is what Chris Rock had to say.
Yo, man. The only man that puts fear in my heart on stage is Dave motherfucking Chappelle.
Wow, that's big coming from you. Thanks, Chris.
Put fear in your heart.
I'm like, all right. I still might have to take him out, but my adrenaline's going.
Yeah.
Like Dave Chappelle's a beast.
Wow, man.
That's
crazy, and it's funny. I think he's gonna actually take you out on August the 5th, right?
The 5th and the 6th.
In the 6th. But how does that make you feel to have, like, who is it that you would, like, be apprehensive about going on before or after?
I don't know. Evil Knievel or something. Every once in a while you'll be backstage. Yeah, sometimes Donnell be on stage and he'll open the show and I'll hear the crowd screaming. I'm like, God damn. Like, I remember in Atlanta the other week, every night he got a standing ovation. And I would tell him, if they stand up tonight, you're fired. And I see him walk that tight. We was fucking around, but it was like, it's fun though. Like when a comedian does real well in front of you, it's still like a fun. It's not even competitive's not the right word, but it's exciting to see a guy or girl go up there and rip it, and then you gotta go on after them. And can you do it? It gets less suspenseful as the years go on.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So, but any given night, your number could be up, and every once in a while, there's a crowd that has your number, or your bag of tricks doesn't work. But most of the time, if they buy a ticket, they want it to work, and they're with you. You just gotta bring it all to fruition.
I know me, as far as the comic coming to D.C., and there's a lot of great comics coming out of D.C., we used to pride ourselves on that, and that's how you got your name. It's
That's very true.
You know, like you would be on the open mic list. When I first started, people were like, oh, yeah, we're going to put you behind so-and-so and see how you do. But you felt good knowing that you would be challenged to take your game to the next level. It's the same thing like with boxing, whatever, you know. Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes with his sparring.
Who was the first guy that blew you off the stage?
I don't think I ever got blown off the stage.
Oh, wow. He's conceited. He's conceited.
No, I felt some heat. In D.C., at that time, you'd already left, but Teddy Carpenter was one of those acts
Tell the truth. I know that.
Yeah, Teddy Carpenter's one of those dudes that would, like really bring it to you. I've took some L's.
I'll tell you who got me. Remember Chris Thomas?
Yeah.
Destroyed me. I'd only done stand-up like 4 times. And they were like, we're going to put, Chris Thomas by this time must have been doing stand-up like, what?
42 years.
Yeah. Like,
He's 100 now, not joking.
Yeah, he been doing it, man. And they were like, Dave, we're going to put Chris up next. And then the MC literally goes, you can go home if you like.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I'm staying. I bombed. It was the worst. I dry mouth bombed. You ever get bombed so bad that you get thirsty?
Part of that was probably, but you were like, I think part of that is because you were like a young comic. You didn't have the experience of knowing how to transfer that energy from one comic to the next.
Exactly. It was a lack of experience. So cut to like years later, this is when we were all doing like Def Comedy Jam tours. And we were at Madison Square Garden. The show was Chris Thomas, Chris Tucker, and they made me close. Man, I murked that shit.
Yeah. But you was ready then.
That was my Karate Kid tournament night where I was like...
I do remember, it wasn't a comedian, but years ago they had a show called Apollo Comedy Hour. And at that time, the comedians, they didn't really care about, they weren't that important. Like the comedians, they would put them on any slot. So it was a day where they had turned the audience over 3 times to just change the seats. And they kept pushing me back. I was probably only doing comedy for 5 months. And then it was like, we got a special guest. Biz Markie came in.
Oh, dope.
Biz Markie came in and just did a guest spot. Biz Markie came in, destroyed the room, and it was so funny because people was leaving after he left. It was like, we got this new comedian from DC, right? I was like, y'all not gonna do this to me, and because I knew that you couldn't curse, right? My first 2 minutes like, fuck this shit, don't tape this shit, don't, and it was it. But Biz Markie blew me out the water.
A rapper took you down.
Yeah, took me down hard.
Dave did that to me.
Oh, me?
You.
Where?
Donnell Rawlins invited me
Why
to
you had to
a
say
tape
my
because
whole
it was
name?
you.
All right.
Donnell
Sound like
Rawlins
a police
invited
officer.
me to a taping of the Chappelle show. Donnell and I were working together with Ricky Lake. I go down there. He said, "Yo, we doing a taping tonight. I'm opening up." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen Dave Chappelle since." Dave actually came to the first season taping a Real World reunion with a comedian named Dave. You was
That's
there in
right.
a hotel
That's
with
right.
hanging out, had a good time. I was like, "Oh my gosh, he may remember me." So I go and I'm sitting in the audience. Dave comes out and was like, "Oh shit, Heather B.
Oh, shit.
All Glocks down. Let's battle right now." And I look in this heat, fuck a dry mouth. The heat came over my body. He was like, "Lock the doors. You're not leaving until we freestyle on stage." And I was just like, no, he's like, "You sucker MC." I was like, yo. I said, "Oh shit." Yo, I felt you suck, Dave.
Dave Chappelle all the way to like, I don't know, I can say like mentor somebody or tell them to improve, but that was like pretty, I don't know, I can say pretty aggressive way. We're going to the part of Chris Rock, believing that Dave Chappelle is really good. And in life, right, it's good when you meet somebody that is, in life, when you meet somebody that is way better than you, it's good to always give them the applause for it. You know, Dave Chappelle talked about the Chris Talk guy, and also he spoke about in one of his interviews. He spoke about Eddie Murphy. He doesn't do stand-ups anymore, but he is phenomenal. He is like awesome. He's awesome. He's like, man, he's good. He went into movies, so like give credit to credit is due. You see that somebody's way good than you, man, give him the props for it. You know, this guy sees Dave Chappelle as mentor and as his boss. Chris Rock sees Dave Chappelle as somebody that is great. I'm going to the part of Will Smith and Chris Rock Oscar slap. As Jada Pinkett is separated with Will Smith, does that make Chris Rock happy seeing that they are both separated? Or it's nothing that is a pretty big deal to him? But let's continue with this conversation.
We have a good time, you know? We have a good time.
He did that to me.
That was, we have fun, man.
It was fun.
I miss doing the show sometimes. I don't know that I could ever do it again. So like the hours, and then the context is so different now.
Difference. Like since back then, the world's changed, right?
Yeah. Everything. There was no smartphones then.
Yeah.
I remember after I quit my show, I was in San Francisco when someone just gave me tickets to Macworld. And I sat in the front, I was by myself. And I watched Steve Jobs introduce the iPhone. And had I known what he was doing, I would stuck a pencil in his chest and tried to save humanity.
That's real?
Yeah. Jesus Christ, I mean, the world is a totally different place.
Yeah.
And as those phones get bigger, we all get dumber. I haven't read a book in years, yet I consume itty bitty hors d'oeuvres.
I gotta tell you, when I was sitting here watching what all the other honorees have done with their lives, I started feeling like shit. Like, this is terrible. And then Bobo brought me up and started out good with that Ali picture, and then it just. Whew. But that coloring book that was in the picture, I know the Ali's are here, that coloring book, my mother has it. And Champ, he signed it. You know, the greatest, he signed it, Muhammad Ali. And his sparring partner was there that day. And his sparring partner signed it, said the next heavyweight champion in the world, Larry Holmes. And he was. And 2-year-old Dave Chappelle colored all in that shit and just ruined the book. But I remember part of the book that I remember real vividly because I asked my mother about it when I was a kid. There's a part where there's a picture of Ali throwing his Olympic gold medal into the Ohio River. That's why it's so weird for me being here. You know, both of my parents were very brilliant. My dad went to Brown in 1955. That's right. He told me at the time he was one of 3 black students. He said one of the guys got accused of a rape that he probably didn't commit, and the other guy killed himself. And Dad said, and I left. And see, that's what makes us Chappelle's great. We know when to quit. We all just live to fight another day. I gotta say, I'm very honored to be here, and I'm very honored to be here with the other honorees. Really, I'm like very humbled by you all, the work that you do, and you all make me want to be better. All of you. And you know, I was gonna stop doing stand-up for a while because 4 comedy specials in a year is like, that's a lot, you know. But you know, shout out to my colleagues in comedy. I just want to say that in a way, this for me belongs to my mother primarily, who was an African American studies professor, and a lot of the content that I say, she raised me well. I'm not an uninformed person. But also, you know, my colleagues in comedy, like comedians have been getting beat up pretty bad recently, and we're somehow nowadays expected to speak with the precision of attorneys or politicians. We are not. I always think of James Baldwin. You know, James Baldwin was one of my favorite writers because he managed to tell white people what they feel like to be around. So I ain't gonna hang up my gloves yet. I think I got one more special in me. So to quote Baldwin, God gave Noah the rainbow sign. It's no more water, it's the fire next time. Thank you very much.
And so if you would, please join me in welcoming Dave Chappelle home again.
Oh, thank you. You know, I speak for a living, and I'm a little nervous today. I wanted to say thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Bishop Green, and thank everyone at Allen University for hosting me today, because it feels special, right? When I think of this great grandfather that I've heard about in my life, but never actually touched his legacy. So it's like the product of his loins coming to meet the product of his work. And it's an important day for me personally. And I know a lot of you guys are students, and I just want to tell you I'm the first person in my family to not go to college. And as the president has told you, I've done outstanding in spite of that. But one thing I did want to say, and one thing today just made me think about, for all the things that I've done, I'm most renowned for what I didn't do. I've made decisions in my career that a lot of people have called insane. 2004, had a $50 million deal on the table, and in a crisis of conscience, flipped the table over and walked away. Went to South Africa. Everyone said I was running away from the money. That is not true. In fact, I still want that money. The idea that I wanted to just share with you guys is the idea that sometimes you do what you think is best, whether anybody understands it or not. I heard a story about my father where someone told me he used to do statistics for a company in DC. The company he did statistics for started doing business with the South African government, so he quit his job. It's caused a lot of problems between him and his wife. It's hard for a man when he can't provide for his family the way he wants to, and he suffered through it. And a generation later, when I had my crisis of conscience, I was able to go to a free South Africa and get away from the heat. This idea that what you do in your lifetime informs the generations that comes after you is something I keep thinking about, something that is so much bigger than just ourselves. And today I'm standing in front of you guys, and I know you guys are like, oh, I know you're bored. But I see family of mine in the front row some who I've never met, and I just realize how all of us are connected. That my great-grandfather built something more substantial than buildings. He built a community, and he built, more importantly than a community, he built a way. You know, so I'm very grateful. Very grateful. Hello, police. I just saw him saying, you know what I mean? He's standing over like, so this is what black people talk about. I just want you guys to remember, you know, that right now there's this thing where ethics aren't what they used to be. This idea that people are trying to replace the ideas of good and bad with better or worse. And that is incorrect. You gotta keep your ethics intact because good and bad is a compass that helps you find the way. And a person that only does what's better or worse is the easiest type of person to control. They are a mouse in a maze that just finds the cheese. But the one who knows about good and bad will realize that he's in a maze. So, that being said, I just hope that all of you guys transcend whatever you see as your obstacles and that you live outstanding lives and that you stay connected to your communities because you have so much power there, and that you grow your communities and you diversify your communities, and that you don't let anybody tell you you can't or to be afraid. It's okay to be afraid because you can't be brave or courageous without fear. The idea of being courageous is that even though you're scared, you just do the right thing anyway. So in 2004, I walked away from $50 million, and in November, I made a deal for $60 million. So, although I am not the most famous comedian of my time, I would like to know what their great-grandfathers did. I'm very proud today. Thank you very much. Boy, this comes as a complete surprise. I mean, I read all the reviews, and they said so many terrible things. They were embarrassed for me. I had lost my way. It wasn't even worth watching. I hope all you critics learn from this. This is a teachable moment. Shut the fuck up forever. Two in a night. These aren't them. These are the ones I won for the other ones, motherfucker. I would like to thank my editor who was nominated. Unfortunately, he did not win, but I couldn't have been more honored to work with Jeff Urin. Stan Lathan has been directing television since 1968. Any show that I watched when I was growing up, he directed it. From Sesame Street to Sanford and Son to Good Times to Everything Black. And finally, you motherfuckers finally gave him an Emmy tonight. He deserves so much more, but I'm glad you came around. I'd like to shout out all the other nominees tonight. Tiffany Haddish and Patton Oswalt and Hannah Gatsby and Brother Mulaney. You guys are an inspiration to me, and I'm honored to be nominated with you. I'm sorry that you didn't win tonight, but who gives a fuck anyway? It's a special night because comedy gets to be itself. It's all we've ever wanted. I hope the war is over. We good? And as always, I'd love to thank my wife, Elaine. That's right. Elaine has been with me for the last 25 years and had to endure the pains of living with the greatest comedian ever. See you on Monday. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. I like not knowing what's going to happen. I like making memories. Sometimes I do all this crazy shit around my colleagues just so that they can tell their friends I did it. But rather than talk about myself, just briefly, I want to just talk about my genre. Stand-up comedy is an incredibly American genre. I don't think any other country could produce this many comedians. And unbeknownst to many people in this audience, I don't think there's opinion that it exists in this country that is not represented in a comedy club by somebody. Each and every one of you has a champion in the room. We watch you guys fight, but when we're together, we talk it out. I know comics that are very racist, and I watch them on stage, and everyone's laughing, and I'm like, that motherfucker means that shit. Don't get mad at them, don't hate them. We go upstairs and have a beer, and sometimes I even appreciate the artistry that they paint their racist opinions with. Man, it's not that serious. The First Amendment is first for a reason. The Second Amendment is just in case the first one doesn't work out. We gotta let some air out of the ball, man. The country's getting a little tight. It doesn't feel like it's ever felt in my lifetime. So tonight, I am honored that my colleagues are here in comedy and in music. And I want everyone in America right now to look at me. Look at me smoking indoors. I didn't ask anybody, I just did it. What are they gonna do? Kick me out before I get the prize? No, nigga, this is called leverage. The thing that I liked best about tonight was that I saw so many people from different parts of my life, like friends that I grew up with here in DC, friends of mine from Ohio then and now, friends of mine from comedy clubs, all the fucking musicians that blew my mind. You guys have no idea how you inspired me. I want to give a special shout out to my OG, Tony Woods. Miles Davis has a quote. It's one of my favorite. Miles Davis said so much cool shit, but one of the things he said I always loved, he said, it took me years to learn how to play like myself. You know, he would watch other musicians and he would try to play like Dizzy or Bird or all the guys who were great. Tony Woods was my Dizzy and Bird if I was a Miles. I was trying to play like you. You were the first person I ever saw do it absolutely right. You were fearless and you told the truth. There's something so true about this genre, when done correctly, that I will fight anybody that gets a true practitioner of this art form's way, because I know you're wrong. This is the truth. And you are obstructing it. I'm not talking about the content, I'm talking about the art form. Do you understand? Do we have an agreement? And what I really wanted to say tonight, and I'm glad I get the platform to do it, I'm gay. I am gay, and I can't wait to see what this does for my career, being gay like this. So many special shout-outs. One of the main architects of the comeback of the century, my brother and my mentor, the mighty Stan Lathan. I never dreamed that I would be able to work with someone as great as you. These last 5 specials, straight fire. I wouldn't want to do another special with anybody else but you. So eat your motherfucking vegetables and live as long as you can, because we doing a few more of these bitches. Neil Brennan, your speech made me cry, because it reminded me of all those hard days of work and all that money I never got for it. The other real special shout out I gotta make, because none of this would have been possible on any level without this person, is my mother. Mom. My mother. Mom. You have no idea what I put this woman through. If you had just given birth to me, that would have been more than enough. But the fact that she raised me and raised me well, we had a real oral tradition in our house. I knew the word griot when I was a little boy. A griot was a person in Africa who was charged with keeping the stories of the village. Everyone would tell a griot the stories, and they would remember them all so that they could tell future generations. And when they got old, they'd tell them to someone else. And they say in Africa, when a griot dies, it's like a library was burnt down. And my mother used to tell me, before I ever thought about doing comedy, she said, you should be a griot. And she'd fill me with every story of black life. You know, she's educated in African-American studies, and she would let me understand the context that I was being raised in, that I'm being raised in a hostile environment that I have to tame. By the time I was 14 years old, I was in nightclubs, mastering an adult world. It was terrifying. The crack epidemic was going on, and my mother would hear gunshots outside and be scared to death. Maybe it's my son. But early in my career, if you remember, Mom, you used to sit in the club with me. She'd do a full day of work. You'd be back there falling asleep, just waiting for me to go on. She would watch my show every night. Do you know how long that car ride is home? How many of you have ever heard your mother say, pussy jokes were a little too much tonight, son? I was a soft kid. I was sensitive, I'd cry easy, and I would be scared to fist fight. And my mother used to tell me this thing, I don't even know if you remember, but you said this to me more than once. You said, son, sometimes you have to be a lion so you can be the lamb you really are. I talk this shit like a lion. I'm not afraid of any of you. When it comes word to word, I will gab with the best of them, just so I can chill and be me. And that's why I love my art form, because I understand every practitioner of it. Whether I agree with them or not, I know where they're coming from. They want to be heard. They got something to say. There's something they notice. They just want to be understood. Love this genre. It saved my life. So tonight, Mom, I would like to honor you in a very special way that I cannot do on my own. But because now I'm a man with great and influential friends, I'd like to ask my man Thundercat to come out on the stage. Thundercat, the mighty Most Def. Washington, D.C., thank you very much for giving me a home and a place to start. Today is officially Dave Chappelle Day in Washington, D.C. The mayor declared it last night. So, in the future, on Dave Chappelle Day, I ask everyone who wishes to celebrate it to make one incredible memory for themselves and or somebody else. Thank you very much. Good night.
I'll be like, what? I told y'all what I did.
What's really fucked up is the tape was made before they were married. Isn't that weird? I don't know why she'd do that. I don't even know why he would do that. As a guy, would you want to live with a woman that you had once punched in the face with all your strength? That's some very bold Color Purple type shit. Sealy, come out here and shave me. You out of your fucking mind? I had to ask an older friend of mine just to get some perspective. This older black dude. Actually, the fairest person I've ever met. And I asked him, I just said, hey man, I said, did you see that Ray Rice video? And instantly he was like, David, that shit was disgusting. I wonder what she said to him. I don't think that matters. I think the idea is you're not supposed to punch her in the face. My wife says terrible shit to me. My wife once called me a pussy in front of dinner guests. I know, I started to get mad, but then I was like, fuck it, she's probably right. I am a pussy, I admit it. I'm soft and warm and persuasive like a real pussy. Right. And then I told her, I said, and if you don't take care of me properly, I might stink like your pussy. Oh, we fight dirty at the Chappelle household. It's not a big deal. No. If you want to get to the bottom of a matter of the heart, what you're supposed to do is ask a woman. Now, actually, there's two women that I know. They're both college professors in this little area I live in. And I meet them twice a week at Starbucks for coffee. Talk about important shit. And I asked the girls, who's Ray Rice? After he punched her in the face with all his strength. And one of my girlfriends said, David, you need to wake the fuck up. She's staying for the money. Well, now, wait a minute, because my other girlfriend was like, I disagree. I think that she actually loves him. And I said, wait a minute, ladies, you know what? I think that you're both right. And what I was doing when I said that was preserving the possibility of a threesome with these bitches. I've been chipping away at this pussy one cup of coffee at a time for like 4 years. I was gonna throw all that hard work away with some Ray Rice shit. I don't care that much. I'm just being real. It's fucked up, man. It's a tough time for the blacks. I love you too. And then here comes the banana peel. I'm waiting on it any second. You know, that's how it starts. I saw in the paper today that the guy that threw the banana at me got arrested again because he threw a banana at another motherfucker in a bar in Santa Fe. Look it up online after the show. He actually did that. And that guy was black too. You know what the guy said he did it at night? He said, I did it because Dave Chappelle is racist. So, nigga, that's not the best way to handle that if I am racist. What if Martin Luther King just went around throwing tuna casserole on white people? Would that work? Huh? I seen your girl bubbling. She's drunk as hell, buddy. Listen, sir, I don't know what she's saying, but just take my advice. Get some water in her, or you're gonna have some dry pussy when you get home. His dick's gonna be shaved the fuck up tomorrow. Santa Maria. Who got a cigarette in here? Anyone got a cigarette I can borrow? Yeah, you fella. Yeah, please. Well, let me see this. This is a Marlboro menthol. This could have been anybody. If it was a Newport, I'd be like a black dude threw that up. But a Marlboro menthol, that's one of them riddles. Is the word pussy offensive? All right, just checking. I asked that crowd when we was in Denver, I said, is the word people? One was a woman in the front, she's older than me, maybe around my age, definitely a feminist. You know what I mean? Short haircut, plaid shirt, you know what I'm saying? And she didn't say it offended her. What she said is she said, I'm uncomfortable with that word. And I was like, really? You? And then before I could ask her why, there was one other guy. He was in the balcony. Now, I don't think he was saying this to me, but he said this. Everybody heard him say it. He goes, it's delicious. I don't think I've ever heard pussy called delicious before in my life. Now, this is not to say that it's bad, but it's definitely an acquired taste. I don't think any of us tasted pussy our first time like, it's good. It needs something. You know, it's illegal for a gynecologist to say the word pussy. They can only say vagina, or they can name individual parts medically, but they can never say shorthand, even if the gynecologist is a woman. I feel like if it was a woman... I don't think men should be allowed to be gynecologists. That shit is a conflict of interest. Even when my wife was pregnant, we used to go to the gynecologist. And he'd put her legs up in that stirrup like this. He'd be like, all right, Miss Chappelle, just try to relax. I push it back up, motherfucker, I got this. Just tell me what to look for. One of those home-style checkups. There's too many ethical questions when men do that. Like, can a gynecologist lose their license for smelling their fingers during an exam? Is that illegal? How could they not? These are men. It's like if you have a good barbecue, you don't even think about it. You just... The word pussy is only offensive if you're older. People my age and younger, I don't think we dance to that shit. That song come on the radio, it's I beat the pussy up. That's a song. It's like nothing like a love song. There's no tracks of his tears, no midnight trains to Georgia. This man simply beats the pussy up. Unbelievable. You don't even know if he's having sex with these women. They might just pull their pants down. He'd be like, bah! G-Unit. Like you'll be watching HBO. Hi, I'm Larry Merchant, standing here ringside with the pussy after a devastating bout with 50 Cent. Pussy, come over here and let me talk to you for a second. My God, you look terrible. Your lips seem to be swollen. You're bleeding a little bit. Tell me, pussy, what happened inside of that ring with 50? I don't know, Larry. I felt really good in the first round. I was ready to fight. It's warm and moist, and I don't know. It just hit me from angles I wasn't expecting. Front, left. Backside surprised me the most. Well, pussy, let's take a look at round 4. This is where it all went wrong for you. Here you come out of your corner, pussy. You're fighting really good. It looks like you got 50 with a right and a left, but then 50 slips your jab, and there, right there, you see that? He punches you right on that little bean thing you have on the top of your head. I don't know what that is. But there's 50 just pounding away at that bean over and over, and that pussy gets rattled around like that. I don't think I was thinking anything, Larry. You know, I'm a real good defensive fighter. It's real hard to get to me. I've never been punched directly on my bean before. As a matter of fact, most fighters don't even know that bean exists. I guess he just hit me there and I lost control of my legs. I don't know what else to tell you. I like when Lil Wayne talks about pussy, because Lil Wayne used to have that song. He'd say, I got a bitch that plays movies in my jacuzzi. And then it goes like this. Pussy juicy. That shit always makes me laugh, because no guy says that, you know what I mean? Only Lil Wayne would say some shit like that. If he was fucking a girl, she's like, is this pussy good? You're not gonna be like, it's juicy. It's good. The pussy was juicy. That's why I'm not Lil Wayne, because if I was in a hot tub with a girl and I could tell that the pussy was juicy while I was in the hot tub, I'd probably get out of the tub. I'm a germaphobe. I just picture Lil Wayne like, what is this strange oil floating in my hot tub water juice? That shit was so funny to me, I must have wrote like no less than 40 jokes with the punchline pussy juice. And all of them worked to some degree 100% of the time. I'll do one more just so you believe it, okay? All right. And this next piece, it's a special episode of CSI. For some reason, Lil Wayne's guest starring as the lead detective, okay? That's the setup. Are you ready? Here it goes. Has anyone else been on this crime scene? No. It's very strange. This place is virtually undisturbed. No forced entry. No sign of a struggle. Shine your flashlight right here. I just slipped in something. What is this? What is this? It glistens in the light. Smooth to the touch. Pussy juice. She must have been sitting Indian style. 39 more where that came from. Everybody's mad about something. Recently, I got attacked online by some gay bloggers, and it hurt my feelings. I have no problem with gay people, but I fucking hate bloggers. I'm not saying it because this person was gay. They was acting like a bitch online. They was like mischaracterizing my jokes, trying to make a point off of me, when it's really, it's like, yo, I'm your ally, motherfucker. I'm not trying to stop gay people. I got better shit to do. This motherfucker was saying things to try to get gay people to beat me up. Seriously, he was like, Dave Chappelle's jokes. I don't know how he actually talks. I'm just making this voice up. Dave Chappelle's jokes were an affront to the manhood of all gay men. What the fuck does that mean? I didn't say anything that would allude to gay men not being men. I know you're men. In fact, what could be manlier than fucking another guy in the ass? It's the most gangster shit I've ever heard of in my life. I told you I'm not cut out for that. I'm a pussy. You know what I said? That's all I said. First of all, I'll tell you right now what I said. And I will tell you that this was not a joke. It's a true story. And I just happened to tell it. All right, what happened was I went to a gallery party, all right? I don't know who in here has ever been rich before, but these are very nice parties. You know, wine and cheese and ball of conversation. And there was a few eccentric types, one of which was a very wealthy man that happened to be wearing a dress. I don't know what you call him, man. This is a tranny or a drag queen, perhaps. Whatever it was definitely a man. And this man was definitely on drugs. I don't know what kind of drugs he's on, but I knew he had too much. He didn't look good. It's like this. He's like, he looked sick. And all his friends were standing around him, concerned, trying to revive him. I don't know what they looked like, some kind of gay CPR. There was fanning and shit. I saw all this from a distance. Now, I should have minded my own business, but I got curious. I was like, oh. And I went over there. All I said, excuse me, gentlemen, is he okay? And then they looked at me like I was evil. She is fine. I'm sorry, I didn't know this is what we were doing. Here's my thing. I would support anybody's right to be whoever they feel like they are inside. I'm your ally in that. However, my question is, to what degree do I have to participate in your self-image? Is it fair that I have to change my whole pronoun game up for this motherfucker? That doesn't make sense. Seriously. If I put on an Argyle sweater and I'm like, hey, everybody, I feel like a white guy in this sweater and I want some goddamn respect and a bank loan. That's not gonna work. Give a fuck how I feel. Why should I give a fuck how you feel? Nigger is a pronoun. But there was no time for philosophical debate. This was an emergency situation. I said, fine. Sorry, guys. I was just worried because she looks terrible. And she just fell off the bench. Appears that her dick is popping out of her dress. You mind if I call an ambulance, champ? I'd rather not be at a party where a tranny ODs. There's too many questions to answer. Okay, I've been through this before. I had a friend from high school. Now, in high school, this guy was a thug, Will, right? He was a fucking dope boy. He did it all. He's a wild dude. People used to be very scared of him. And then after high school, word on the street was he'd come out the closet. I personally didn't believe it. I bring him up because last year, he calls me out of the blue like, yo, what's up, man? I got your number from so-and-so, and I heard you're going to be in New York doing a show. Could I get some tickets? I was like, fuck yeah, get some tickets, man. How you been? He said, well, we'll catch up at the show, man, but yo, I appreciate it. I'll see you soon. I said, all right, man, take care. And I was about to hang up, and I couldn't resist. I was just like, hey, nigga, I heard you was gay. What's going on with that? And I wish I didn't ask, because he sounded like he was dying to talk about that shit. And he had a long story about it. And it's not that I didn't care, but I was, I don't like talking on the phone. I was watching TV at the same time. So I just wasn't really paying attention like I should. But I was trying to sound supportive, but I didn't really know what to say. So I was just like mumbling shit throughout this conversation. I was just like, nigga, you gay, man. You just gay. This went on for a while, and then finally I had to say something like definitive to get him off the phone. And I was like, hey, man, you know what? Don't let people get you down, all right? And the next time someone tries to make you feel bad about yourself, just remember, everybody fucks funny to somebody. He didn't like that shit. He's like, what the fuck does that mean? I said, huh? He said, you saying I fuck funny, motherfucker? I said, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying everybody's different. He said, you ain't say different, nigga. You say it funny. What's so fucking funny about the way I fuck? And I said, hey, man, I fuck feet. He said, what? Oh, this is not a joke, ladies and gentlemen. I get women to squeeze their feet together like this, and I fuck them right in that little space in their feet. But you can't build a community behind that shit. There's no flag for us. That shit made him laugh. And the next day, after the show, I saw him backstage. He was like, yo, what's up, man? I'm like, oh, shit, what's going on? And he had his buddy with him. He goes, Dave, I want you to meet Manuel. Manuel's my fiance. We're in New York getting married because it's legal here. I said, well, gracias. And he went to go get some drinks. And then my buddy looked at me. He was like, so, Dave, what do you think? And I started mumbling again. You gay, nigga, you just gay. He said, yeah, I'm a little nervous about getting married, man. It's a big step. I said, yeah, it is. It's a big step. He said, well, you've been married for a while. You got any advice for us? No, I'm married to a woman. Sorry about that. And he corrected me. He said, no, you married the person that you love. So it's essentially the same. I said, man, the problem with that statement is that it makes the assumption that I love her. But you guys lighten the fuck up. Of course I love my wife. She laughs at this shit. As a matter of fact, she eats and spends this shit. You know what I told him? I told him, I said, you know what you should do, man? First of all, you shouldn't do it. I'm talking about being legally married. It's not that you're gay as much as just legal marriage is a fucking diabolical leverage game in the United States. I'm just being honest. Devoid of religious significance or the idea of love, marriage is nothing but an awful contract that you shouldn't sign. I'm just being real. Because you start out loving each other, and then like 2 years later, you're just building a case against one another for a hypothetical court date that may or may not ever happen. You throw being gay on top of that, that shit is explosive. Like I said, Ray Rice shit. Okay, right after Ray Rice went through all that shit, I was at a party and I met this kid, Michael Samms. You know Michael Samms? Very nice guy. He's the first openly gay NFL player. And Mike's a very nice guy, very brave guy. But when I met him, I couldn't help but thinking, his wife up in the elevator. Is that domestic violence or is that just two niggas working shit out in the elevator? You know what I mean? Anyway, I give all married men the same advice, gay or straight. Get a dog. This dog will love you all the time, but she's not going to. It's real talk. I didn't even know about dogs, and my kids got the dog. They brought him home from the shelter, and I didn't even want him. They're like, "Can we keep him?" I said, "Nope." I said, "Where'd you even get this dog?" They're like, "We got him from the shelter." I was like, "Ugh. Probably something wrong with him. You can't keep him." And then my kids started crying and screaming like the dog had gambling debts. "Please, Dad, if you don't let us keep him, they're gonna kill him." I was like, "Oh. All right, you can keep him." And this dog was a menace. I hated his guts. Then one night I smoked a bunch of weed and I was eating a sandwich. And Baba came over. Baba's the dog. He came over and was staring at me. This will make you very uncomfortable if you're just looking at you usually. I had to give him a piece of my sandwich so he'd go away. And that's how we became friends. Now, if you see me walking down the street with Baba, I ain't got no leash or nothing. He walks right next to me. If I stop, he'll stop. And if I go, he'll go. And all my friends are like, "Yo, Dave, that shit is dope. How you train Baba to do that shit?" I've never trained Baba. I'm just a messy eater. If I drop food and Baba's not around, all I gotta do is call him. "Baba!" He's a black dude's dog, so he doesn't come right away. He peeks first to see what's going on. I gotta tap my foot so he can see the food. "Over here, little buddy." And he's like, "Thanks, Dave." He'll come get it and run off. But he knows all my habits. Like if he smells weed in the house, he'll be like, "Nah, this motherfucker's about to eat." And he'll just come running. Baba got me through a very difficult time in my marriage. We spend the most time together. Like, it's not that me and my wife don't spend time together, but we've been married so long, it's like we don't talk like, I don't know if anyone's married here, but if after 10 years, all that chatty shit goes away. You've said it all. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, we're just in the zone. She says the same shit to me every night before she goes to bed. I'll be the last one up. She's like, "I'm gonna get some sleep, Dave. Good night." "All right, babe, we'll stay up and watch television. Good night." And she'll walk halfway up the steps. "David? Don't eat the kids' lunch." And then she walks away. Well, the crazy shit is I don't even eat their lunch anymore. Back in the day, I used to eat that shit. You know how that goes. I might smoke some weed in the middle of the night and she'll leave neatly wrapped sandwiches all over the kitchen. I'm gonna eat it. What's the big deal? Why can't you just make another one in the morning? I mean, it's like, I got sons anyway. And sons love everything their dads do. My kids would be at school the next day, just look like, "Oh, Dad bit my sandwich. Oh, shit." You could trade that sandwich for something better. What I'm doing is adding value to their lunch. You shouldn't understand these types of things. Anyway, she gets mad at me. Well, she's mad at me now because I got myself in trouble. I got myself extorted, which happens in this business. I come home from the road. There was a FedEx sitting on the kitchen table, and it was addressed to me, so I opened it. I don't know who delivered it. And there was a video cassette inside with a note written on it that said, "Gotcha." Oh, my God. Can you imagine? I freaked out. I tore the whole house apart. trying to find the VCR. I hadn't seen a tape in like over a decade. And I watched the tape and it was awful. They got me. It was a tape of me. I was fucking a girl, okay? But it was from before I was married. But it was not a good look. And I felt sick to my stomach. And I looked up at the clock, and then I saw my wife was coming home in 10 minutes, and I just panicked. I jerked off to the tape real fast, and then... and then I called the FBI. Much better. I mean, they didn't say they were going to cash him for sure, but they had the demeanor of some competent people that would cash him. So I didn't worry about it too much. And then not even a week later, 5 days later, I come home and there's another video cassette just sitting on my porch. As soon as I saw it, I just called the police like, they've done it again. You should probably look for a guy with bell bottoms on because I don't know who the fuck is sending tapes. And that second tape was the worst shit I'd ever seen in my life. It was awful. Career-ending bad. It was a tape of me jerking off to the tape a week earlier. I don't even know how they'd even get such a thing. I had to explain all of this to my wife. She was very mad. No thing in this world is as cold as a woman's cold shoulder. Because she was mad, but she wouldn't talk to me about it. She would just punish me in little ways. Make me do shit that I hate to do. Like pick the kids up from school. That's one thing she made me do. That's a hardship for me. I got one son that goes to a public school, and my brother goes to a private school. It's an experiment. I just want to see what's going to happen to him. But what's weird is my little son in private school, he's like my thuggy son, you know what I mean? I don't know where he get that from. He's not getting it from me. And he's definitely not getting it from that school. That school is it's a liberal school. It's the kind of school, there might be like 12 black students in the entire school. And I'm the only black parent. And none of the parents like me either. Not because I'm black, but just like they don't like how I roll. Because I be showing up late all the time, and I'm like in a Porsche and a blasting music that they don't like. You know, the music be like, I'll beat the pussy up. And I pull into the parking lot. I might be smoking a cigarette with the kids in the car. Then I pull into like that handicap space. And then when I get out of the handicap space, they always want to say some passive aggressive shit. Morning, Dave. Don't know if you noticed, but you actually parked in the handicap space. Huh? Yeah, you know what, Frank? I did notice. But who is this handicapped guy we're all waiting on that never shows up? So I hate going over to that school. The only parents that are nice to me is a lesbian couple, Kate and Sarah. Actually, Kate hates my guts. Sarah knows that I'm black and she's half black, so she just understands me. You know what I'm saying? I can't explain it. Because I'll say shit and Kate's just too serious about being a lesbian. I'll be like, hey, Kate, hey, Sarah, you guys going to the father-son picnic next week? How's that going to work? And Kate will instantly be furious. But Sarah knows I'm fucking around, so she'll just say something cool. I don't know, Dave, maybe me and Kate will flip for that shit. I said, bitch, you better save that coin toss because everybody knows you strapping on in that household. And then Kate will turn bright red, but Sarah just fist bump me like, you right, nigga? It's me. Huh? We're good friends. We're good friends. They invite me to stuff. They're like my only friends at the school. So imagine my surprise when I go to pick my son up after all this happens. And the teacher is waiting outside for me. She's just standing right there in the middle of the fucking handicap space. I knew something was wrong, so I rolled the window. We talked to you for a minute in the office. I said, no, fuck that. We got to talk right here. What's going on? I knew it was bad. Ibrahim had a fight. I said, a fight? Don't worry. Everyone's okay.
said, everyone. What happened? Well, that's it. We don't know what happened because he won't talk to anybody. All we know is that he punched Sarah Jr. in the face. I said, oh no. Sarah's one of the only parents I'm not sure I can beat up in this school. Just then, Kate and Sarah pulled up to pick up their daughter, and then we all had to go into the office, and I was really worried because I didn't want them to kick me out of the school. And then they brought my son in, he was crying. They brought him in like a prisoner. He was like, oh. I said, son, just stop crying, calm down. Do not look at these mean faces. I need you to look at my face, and I need you to tell me the truth, buddy, all right? Just tell me the truth. Is it true? Did you punch that girl, Sarah Jr., in the face? I was trying to give him a signal to lie, but he didn't pick up on it. I was like, he wasn't paying attention. He said, yes, Daddy, I punched her face. I said, oh my God, why? Why would you do that? You're not supposed to put your hand. So gangster, it scared all the parents in the room. He was like, because she had it coming. I said, and everyone looked at me. I said, I did not teach you. I don't know where he got that from. I said, what does that mean, son? That is crazy talk. What does that mean? And then he just started crying like he was Tupac. Oh, these kids keep fucking with me. I told his teacher, I said, well, now wait a minute. This kid is a lot of things, but he's not a liar. And if he said they was fucking with him, they did something to him. Son, what's going on? What did they do to you? Oh, Dad, I'm tired of this shit. It's been going on all week. I said, what's going on all week? He said, well, we said lunch, and that bitch bit my sandwich. I said, oh. He said, it's the fourth time this week. I'm tired of this sandwich biting bitch. I said, stop using that word. Let's go home. That's a quiet car ride home. We got to the house, he just ran right up to his room, slammed the door. His mother came downstairs. By then, she had heard about everything. She was looking at me like, oh my. She said, you bit that goddamn sandwich, didn't you, Daddy? I said, I'm tired of you accusing me of shit. And I just ran out of the house, jumped in my car and drove off. Of course I bit that sandwich. But I knew that she was just really mad about that tape, so now she's gonna punish me about a fucking sandwich I bit. And I was mad as fuck. You know what I said to myself? I said, I should just never go home. Fuck this shit. You know, by the way, that's how people used to get divorced in the 40s. Wasn't no divorce court in America. Back in those days, if you want to get out your marriage, you just tell your wife, hey, baby, I'm going to get a pack of cigarettes. I'll be right back. You would just leave with the clothes on your back. That's when men were men. And there was no internet back then, so you could move 11 miles away and have a whole new life. But I ended up going back home. Late at night, and came in the room and she was actually changing for bed. You can always tell your wife is mad at you when they cover their titties up when you're walking. Oh. Let those titties out, it's me, baby. Can we just talk about this for a minute? She said, David, there's nothing to talk about. I already know you bit the sandwich. And don't go looking for the lunch, I hid it. I said, I don't want to talk about the sandwich, baby. I want to talk about it. The tape. I know that's why you're mad. It was a very difficult conversation. I had to crack a few jokes, and we started talking, and then she cracked a few jokes that hurt my feelings, honestly, but... we talked, and you know what she told me? She told me that she was madder about the second extortion tape than she was about the first one. Which doesn't make sense at all. What's wrong with a guy touching his own private parts? It's my own business. It's not like I do it all the time. As a matter of fact, sometimes I do it for her benefit. A lot of guys do this. It's called the mercy jerk. That's the one that happens in the middle of the night when you're about to roll on top of it and you see her face and you're like, she looks tired.
That takes a lot of love and discipline to back out of a room with a rock hard dick. Sometimes I don't make it. Uh-oh. Someone fell asleep with their socks off, didn't they? You can't rape feet. You can't rape feet. Only time I jerk off now is in the game. Sometimes she'll tell me, Dave, I'm gonna take the kid to my mom real quick. Probably back in a couple of hours. A couple hours? You can get a good one in 2 hours. That's the kind of session where you'll take all your clothes off. I'll be butt naked in the living room like, get these fucking toys out of my way. Disgusting. Foot all on the coffee table, just stroking it out and taking my time. And I got a bowl of cereal waiting for me right here. That's when you have the privacy, you can have a loud orgasm. I miss those. Ah! 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 You know, when a guy busts a nut, like right after that, there's a window of like 6 minutes where he does the most rational thing he ever does. That's when he's always horrified. Ah! Oh God, what have I done? Oh my God, it's everywhere. Ah! Thank you very much, Austin, Texas. I had a wonderful time. Be well, be happy. Good night.
Hello, xin chào